Happy Wednesday, East Hartford. We had a town council meeting last night. It was a quick meeting. We got some great updates for you. Here they are. We have a request for a bid waiver from the fire department for the incident command certification classes from Across the Street Productions Inc. And so, just to give you guys a little bit of background about why we're seeking a bid waiver. So, per our purchasing rules and our purchasing threshold, anything over $25,000 has to go out to bid. Anything under $25,000, we simply have to get 3 quotes to prove that we're getting the lowest cost or the best cost on behalf of the taxpayer. However, when we seek a bid waiver, we do so because one, this may be the only company that provides that service. It may be a sole source situation, or we have a relationship with this organization or company and we want to continue that on. In this case, Across the Street Productions Inc. is the only company that provides this sort of training to our fire department, and that's the reason for why we're seeking a bid waiver. The training is covered by a FEMA grant in the amount of $58,000, so no impact to the taxpayer. Like I said, it is covered by the FEMA grant. And as I mentioned, it is simply for incident management training. And so I think that's important for our fire department. And so that's what that item was about. It was approved by council. So we will be contracting with Across the Street Productions Inc. to conduct that training in the month of February, I believe. Our next item is recommendations from the ordinance committee. And we have 2 recommendations, one being the blight ordinance revisions, which I did talk about last time, as well as 2 of setting of a public hearing date for the illegal sale of cannabis ordinance. So going back to number 1, the blight ordinance revisions, I did talk about this last time. Simply revised our blight ordinance to make the language more modern, to ensure that 2 things. We had the ability to increase our property maintenance fines up to $1,000 in certain cases, as well as a last resort, the ability for the town to go on private property to remedy blight. And as I mentioned to you guys last time, this is a totally last resort. We have a number of steps that we must take to try to remedy blight, correct the violation. But at the end of the day, there are times where we're fining someone, we're sending out notices, and they're just not complying. In the neighborhood, although they know that we're doing this activity, it's still not providing them with relief. We now have the tools to go on private property ourselves, correct that blight, and possibly lien the property. So going to number 2, setting the public hearing date for the illegal sale of cannabis ordinance. Back in October, state law gave municipalities the ability to better regulate the illegal sale of marijuana outside of a dispensary. And so we are seeing that a bit in some of our smoke shops here in town. And so we now have the ability to either level a civil penalty up to $30,000 on that landlord or on the tenant. We have the ability to apply to Superior Court to shut that business down should they be found to be in violation of selling illegal cannabis, as well as allowing us to apply to DCP, who is the regulatory authority over smoke shops, to revoke their license should once again they be found to be in violation. This item on the agenda simply sets a public hearing date. That public hearing date was set for February 18th, I believe at 7 p.m. It's going to be right before the next town council meeting, which is also on the 18th. That starts at 7:30. So this is a public hearing for folks to come out, talk about this ordinance, talk about any concerns you may have, talk about what you're seeing out in the community. From there, the ordinance will then be approved, likely on the 18th as well. And then there's a 30-day waiting period before the ordinance actually goes into effect. So that's standard for all ordinances that we have in town. All right, so moving on to our next item. These are 2 quick ones, recommendations from the Personnel and Pension Subcommittee. This is the subcommittee that reviews job description revisions as well as increases in employees' pay outside of the budget process. And so we have 2 job description referrals, one being revisions to the job description of the Youth Services Coordinator. The last time that the Youth Services Coordinator job description was updated was 1987. That is before I was born. And so we are now upgrading the language in that. There is no increase in pay, no change in the grade of pay. This is simply just revising the job description language to be modern and to reflect the modern duties of that position today. The next one is a proposed revisions of the job description as well as a change in pay grade for the position of our purchasing agent. This is another job description that hasn't been revised since 2002, so that's 24 years ago. This is an upgrading of the language to reflect the new responsibilities on this position, the new added workload of this position as well, and then a 2-grade jump in pay for this position to make the pay more aligned with what the market is paying, what other towns are paying for this position. This is all in an effort to both make sure that we're compensating this employee in this position for what they are currently doing, as well as making this position more modern and competitive with some of the other towns that we're always fighting with to hire the same people. So our last 2 items were simply an appointment of Salima Davis to the East Hartford Housing Authority Board. And then lastly, we have a number of appointments to our boards and commissions, being the Historic District Commission, so reappointments to the Redevelopment Agency. I won't name who these folks are, but I once again want to thank them for stepping up, volunteering their time on a board or commission, and now you are appointed and ready to serve. That is all we had, folks. Like I said, very short agenda, short meeting, which is always good, nothing controversial. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Like I said, we'll link the packet so that you guys can look at the background information yourself. And as always, just wanting to bring the information to you, and have a great and safe, happy Wednesday.